Are you ready for a little conspiracy? Because in this video, we are going to go over a conversation point that I have seen on social media that I do think warrants repeating. And no, this is not that stupid like the Lucas Raymond for first overall thing that we had talked about earlier in today's show. This is actually possible, I think. Because today, we are talking about Toronto Maple Leafs superstar Mitch Marner. That's not new. Today, we are talking about the idea of Marner heading over to Vegas. That's not new either. Fun, yes, but is it new? No. However, the main sentiment that we have been seeing out of the Vegas Golden Knights, other than the fact that apparently they're high up on Mitch Marner's list and that they would be interested in grabbing Marner as well, the big narrative that we have seen surrounding the Golden Knights is that they just need to free up some money. Nick Hague is a very competent D-man who could be on his way out, not because he is bad, but because he could be demanding a little bit more dough than the Vegas Golden Knights could afford to give him. This team is in a pretty tough spot financially, which is why I bring you what could be seen as the biggest solace for the Vegas Golden Knights in this situation, the ultimate off-ramp, the ultimate excuse, the ultimate way to get this all done without trading anybody away. I wanted to refer to a tweet made on June 10th by Williston Rylander. Very obviously a Leafs fan based off of their username, but they went out there and made this half-joking, half-serious, satirical, ironic tweet that garnered 200,000 views. The tweet says this: "The Vegas Golden Knights will sign Mitch Marner, and just as training camp kicks off in September, they'll announce a major surgery for Alex Pietrangelo that will sideline him for the entire season, allowing them to avoid clearing any cap space. This is exactly what's going to happen." And that's a pretty big joke, right? Like, oh yeah, it's funny because Vegas has done things like this in the past. Maybe not intentionally, but the optics of it. The fact that Mark Stone always takes the second half of the year off because he ends up going on the LTIR only to come back for the playoffs. The fact that it's happened multiple times puts a pretty interesting light on the entire situation here. And I get it. You can say a million times, oh yeah, but it's not like he controlled whether or not he had a lacerated spleen. Yeah, that's true. That's totally appropriate there. The guy could have legitimately gotten hurt every single time. But is it not fishy? That's the thing. Like, coincidental, yeah. A guy gets hurt at the right time, he frees up $9.5 million in space. Is that lucky? Is that a coincidence? Yeah, absolutely. But the fact that it's happened so many times makes it so much easier to believe that it's not just a guy happening to get hurt at the right time. You can try to put your tinfoil hats on without totally going off the walls bananas with these conspiracies, but it's just funny, the fact that it's happened so many times. And now we have this Mitch Marner, Alex Pietrangelo idea that was floated out there on a satirical tweet. But Lego, why are you placing so much emphasis on one guy's joke of a tweet? Well, guess what? Williston Rylander ended up replying to their own tweet, and he included an excerpt from a recent article from yesterday. He says, "The future of star defenseman Alex Pietrangelo is already in question regarding the Golden Knights' future. There are those in front offices around the NHL who wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Pietrangelo has played his last NHL game, and that the long-term injury relief from the final 2 years of his $8.8 million per year contract would put the Knights in a position to be able to afford Marner." Oh my gosh, man, really? It's gotten that bad again? Now, just to, make it a little bit easier to digest, let's not throw our fingers and point it at everybody and say, oh yeah, Pietrangelo, he's cheating the cap, he's helping Vegas cheat the cap, that guy's not actually hurt. Okay, he could actually be hurt, and he could be in a spot where he might not be able to play anymore. But let's go over onto Spectres Hockey from today, because there is a really interesting summary that dives into where exactly this whole Pietrangelo situation can go. Vegas Hockey Now's Hannah Kirkle cited Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman and his recent remarks implying that Golden Knights defenseman Alex Pietrangelo might not be healthy enough to start 25-26. If Pietrangelo is put on the LTIR, it's rumored the Golden Knights could use the salary cap space to pursue a big-name player like Mitch Marner via free agency. However, Hannah Kirkle here suggests pumping the brakes on that speculation. She points out that the Vegas Golden Knights are already stretched thin on their blue line as they're shopping RFA Nick Hague. Even if they keep Nick Hague, he is a left-shot blue liner, and finding a suitable replacement for Pietrangelo on the right side won't be easy. Assuming they place Pietrangelo on the LTIR, and they use $8.8 million in savings to sign Marner, they'll have to free up cap room if the blue liner returns to action during next season. Spectre's note goes out there and says this: the only way this idea works for the Golden Knights is if Pietrangelo is sidelined throughout the entire 25-26 regular season. However, there is no word from the D-man or the Golden Knights that he will be going on LTIR. If he is out for the season, the Golden Knights could use the savings to add a top-line forward like Marner. However, they would be left with a depleted D-core, especially if Hague is traded, and that could prove fatal to their Stanley Cup hopes for next season. Is this not what we were talking about a few videos ago? Like, anybody can suit up on the Vegas Golden Knights blue line and they'll be okay. They turned Ben Hutton into a serviceable Stanley Cup champion. Like, any team that can do that, I think, okay, yeah, they are pretty good defensively. Toss anybody out there on that blue line, and they'll be fine. And they certainly have a bigger chance of being fine if they've got Marner and Eichel tearing it up together. That 2nd and 4th overall pick in the 2015 NHL Entry Draft reuniting 10 years after the fact, because Alex Pietrangelo's contract going on the LTIR would free up all the money this team needs to get that contract done. They can give Marner $10 million a year, and he'll walk away with a lot more money because his take-home pay in Nevada, where there is no state tax, is a lot higher than anything he would have been able to get in Toronto if he wanted to get a similar take-home pay. The Maple Leafs would have needed to pay this guy $14 million, 14.5, something crazy like that. He would have had to be the top-paid non-center in the league. Ay. Mitch Marner, man. Of course this guy wants to go to Florida. Of course this guy wants to go to Vegas. Of course he wants to go to a no-state tax area where he can get a lot more money. And for Vegas, they've got all their shenanigans, all their procedures, all of their moves to get this done. Guess what? Alex Pietrangelo, maybe he starts out the year on the LTIR, the Golden Knights are going to make the playoffs, and then whoop-de-doo, there you go, Pietrangelo's back in the league by the time Game 1 rolls around. It always happens like that, man. And of course, nothing is guaranteed. We don't know necessarily what the timeline is for Pietrangelo, or if he even is going to go on the LTIR at this point. But ultimately, this script is getting old, folks. It is starting to feel a lot more predictable. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting all victimized here as a Vancouver Canucks fan. So with all that in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Mitch Marner Vegas conversation, how this is starting to look a lot more like a possibility with the extra news that Alex Pietrangelo could be on his way out into the LTIR. I understand that there is a very legitimate fear here that was written about by, who was it, Simmons on the Toronto Star, something like that? That Alex Pietrangelo may have already played his last NHL game. That is not good news. Obviously, it's terrible to see. You don't want to see a guy's career get cut short in that way. But at the end of the day, if Pietrangelo going on the LTIR and missing out on the season results in Mitch Marner being an option for this team, a realistic option for this team, then okay, fantastic. Where have we seen this before? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Marner, Pietrangelo, Vegas, and everything else in between. I hope you enjoyed this video. Troll 9, and bye.